Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Bricky. You know why you're here, and if you enjoy the podcast and maybe you want to support us monetarily, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy digital form. You should check it out, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. And with that out of the way, Bricky.
Yes, I have a lot to. I got a lot to do. I got a lot of stuff. I got to do a whole thing. I'm going to roll the clip, play the clip.
Happy podcast day, everyone. This video is sponsored by Raycon's Essential Open Earbuds. They keep your ear canals open the entire time while allowing you to listen to crystal clear sound. This allows you to be very aware of your surroundings in case you're in a busy area. You need to make sure you hear something important like at an airport, your terminal, whatever it is. This lets you hear great music, sound, and everything while keeping it open for anything around you. Actually, these headphones go really well at my workspace where a lot of people will end up be doing merch stuff, folding shirts, packaging items, and they still want to be able to listen to their music, but they still need to be able to hear if they're called to or something. And so combination of that stuff makes these really useful. They're lightweight, have great audio quality, they charge very quickly, and overall are a great addition, especially as we're heading into the holiday season. So go ahead and click the box in the description or go to buyraycon.com/adrickopen to get 20% off your order. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video.
And we're back from the clip. Okay, so real quick, I apologize for the very large intro that we have going on today. There's a lot we have to cover, and I don't like to have too many ads and things like that in the beginning, and I'm trying to go through it relatively quickly. Obviously, as a lot of you know, we are having a giant blowout sale for Adric. You can get a bunch of stuff up to 20% off, including a free Natura Pine toothpick pack, all available in the description. You can check that out. That goes until the end of September. I'll talk more about it next week. And then in addition, and this is the more important part, some of you may have known where recently YouTube has activated the restricted mode for a lot of people. And if you may notice, a lot of folks are having a lot lower in terms of viewership. This is not just happening to us. This is happening to many other folks that I am, in contact with. Even the glorious people over at Red Letter Media made a video also talking about it, where randomly it basically just adds a restricted mode on your YouTube and you are not able to see a large amount of your stuff. So considering the other nightmare from YouTube that we don't really have any control over, and especially considering that we are in a major 4-parter series coming up for a 10+ book research part of it with Possum and Kurioth, we would like to really make sure that if you can do two things. One, double check you're not in restricted mode that YouTube may have forced upon you. 2, if you are a constant viewer of the podcast, this time, please actually click the bell. I know a lot of people are like, click the bell, but in this situation, this is more to stop YouTube from causing problems. And lastly, with the large amount of research and stuff going on, again, wink, wink, nudge, nudge on the Patreon. Would absolutely love it if you could support us in these very heavy amounts of effort series coming up. We are also having a ton of guests coming up, so hopefully that will be content that you really enjoy, and we'll have you happy in supporting either via the Patreon or via the merch sale and anything in between. So I know a lot today between the YouTube stuff and the merch and the ad and everything. Apologies for the big intro, but it just happened to all be at the same time.
Yeah, and it's pretty important to go over it because, we want to make sure you guys get the content and nobody's hiding it from you.
DK and Shy, did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, I would say so. Shy is a Ravens fan, so actually I don't think she did have a good weekend. I think that kind of plummeted the weekend into bad territory. Yeah.
I enjoy the "I did not" in all caps I'm seeing in the chat.
Yeah. Maybe not. Yeah, football season started. So hey, it's Raiders won their first game. I'm happy. Shy,
DK, we've been over this. You can't be a Raiders fan. You don't have a felony.
Well, whatever. I'm a trailblazer. I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah, they're in Vegas now, though, man. There's no more pride.
Well, I've been with them since they were in Oakland, Los Angeles, Oakland again. It's too late. There's no other team to root for. I am stuck in my suffering.
All right, that's fair. That's fair and better. As long as you're not a fan of the Rams.
Oh, good luck, Devontae. Good luck.
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. As long as you're not a fan of the Chiefs.
You can't be a Raiders fan to be a fan of the Chiefs. It's just
No, no, it goes against the fabric of your being.
Every bone in my body is like, just yeah, and don't have to worry about that one.
I get me handing a Yankees hat to the Boston Red Sox player and watching him beat the shit out of me.
Yeah. Their whole body just starts to violently vibrate out of their control. Yeah,
very true. But all right, DK, today we have an episode about Warhammer. Are you shocked?
Wow, what, we do Warhammer content here? Crazy.
You would be surprised. We found out that Warhammer has WMDs.
Oh.
So funny, man. That is an all-timer clip.
That's crazy. That Helldivers quote is just... But that's just Helldivers like style. They go on the nose and they parody in like a really funny way. And hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So I have your mystery quote here. It's a bit of an interesting one. I think we have a 50-50 shot of you getting it.
Ooh, okay.
The old warrior's axe didn't even slow down going through him. Lord Inquisitor Casanaros's head fell from his shoulders, rolling and banging down the steps. The body toppled a second later, collapsing back into the command throne. He raised the axe in one hand, roaring a howl to the burning bridge around him. For every crew member reaching for their sidearms, 24 were abandoning their stations for the escape pods.
Oh, boy. So at first I was like, oh yeah, this is like a corrupt inquisitor getting like executed by, I don't know, someone more higher up than him, or he got found of like treason. But now it's just like, oh, this is like a chaos invasion of a ship. Everybody's fleeing, everybody's running. So I'm thinking it's something maybe chaos related. If we hadn't just done an episode on Khorne, I would guess it was like, because Axe executing a Inquisitor, maybe it's some sort of Khorne thing, but
there is one, so that makes sense. The person in this thing killed an Inquisitor, right? However, chopped his head off. However, there is there are two particular words that you need to focus on here, and the words are axe and howl.
Axe and howl.
Yes.
See, like that still makes me think like Khorne, because I feel like Khorne obviously has a big old axe, Gorechild, and he would just howl in delight at being able to fucking decapitate an Inquisitor.
Yes, but
I'm like, my brain is just dead set on that. So I'm gonna concede and just say I don't have it this morning. That's like, for some reason my brain has got its hooks in on that, and it's just
the Ursa Claws hooks.
Ah, yes, fire the Ursa's claws right into my brain.
I am sorry, sir. You very loud and incorrect buzzer. This howl and axe is very Viking Norse coded, which is space wolves, which is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Logan Grimnar himself, the Fangfather, the High King of Fenris, the guy.
Right. I guess Axe and Howl really should have gone to like Viking, Space Wolf, and
you're not wrong, though. Like, Axe and Howl could be a World Eaters-esque thing, correct? But when I say howl, I meant like a more literal version.
Like a little ow type thing instead of just like a
What? Why does that sound like the song? The ow. Oh, shit. I forget
The
the name of the song.
Ausa.
I know. It made me think of something. Don't worry about it.
I think what threw me off is because it was like I wasn't thinking of a loyalist that would be decapitating an inquisitor. Like my men went fully like, okay, it's not loyalist, it has to be chaos, and it's like, well, world leaders is really the only thing that fits this build, but how? And yeah.
I do think it was a little bit of a curveball by having the character in the quote kill an inquisitor. But as you may remember, if there is a faction that does
do it though.
yes, there is a faction that does not like inquisitors. Space Wolves are very high on that list.
True.
But yes, so Logan Grimnar, we are doing a character episode today. He is the man, the big boy, the main man of the Space Wolves, outside of Russ, of course. I will say, I did not know very little, if anything, about Logan Grimnar, much past this. This is entirely a possum effort here. I know very little about Grimnar outside of his actual miniatures and things like that, and of course that he is Logan Grimnar. But there is, of course, a couple little bits of editor's notes that I do want to mention that Possum has put together, just because I know many people most likely will ask. The first thing is that Possum did a very TLDR for the Months of Shame and mainly emphasized the Grey Knights conflict more than the Inquisition, because it was really cool, apparently, to hear about him killing Grey Knights. There are only a handful of the sagas of Grimnar because it is multiple pages long. And also Glossum.
Oh man, Possum got that glow up. Now he's Glossum.
Possum is strapped. You got that Glockum. Sorry, I was gonna say Possum glosses over a lot of the conflict on Fenris after the 13th Black Crusade because it is massive. Like Devastation of Ball massive and therefore worthy of its own episode.
Oh.
And there will definitely be some Glup Shido stuff because there is so much stuff that goes along with Logan Grimnar. But for our generally hour and change long episodes, we are utilizing most of the main bases. And finally, last thing, Possum hates to say it, but despite how shitty the title of the book is, the book, The Wolf Time, is actually really damn good.
It's called The Wolf Time?
The Wolf Time.
Yikes. What a
Well,
name.
The Wolf Time is like their version of Ragnarok. But it is yeah, Logan Grimnar be like, it's wolfing time and wolfed all over the place.
That's oh man. They ran out of ideas with the naming scheme there, huh? They were like, damn, we can't figure out a way to do like the word Ragnarok with funny letters or a funny spelling. Fuck it,
but
it's Wolfen time.
Much like, you know, most character things, especially with someone like Logan Grimnar, there is always a lot, and an hour and a half will never do justice to a character like this. So apparently, The Wolf Time is a very, very good book. But yes, Logan Grimnar, the man is in his big relic Terminator armor, which he can operate and move as if it's regular armor, which is really goddamn scary. And he, as known as the Old Wolf, with his new miniature, which looks absolutely insane.
Yeah, I think I've been shown this one before, and while a part of me is like, oh man, the Santa Claus one is just iconic, right? The sled. Oh baby, that glow up is more than worth it. Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I'm sad that the Santa Claus sled is gone because it was so funny and an enjoyable look. But if you're going to get rid of something and you're going to replace it, you could do much worse than this.
Oh yeah, he is aura farming hard in that mini. Like, good lord. Also, yeah, I do vaguely remember. I guess in the Space Wolves episode, we talked a little bit about Logan Grimnar. Blah blah blah. I speak well today. And yeah, he's like the oldest Space Wolf, right? He's like the old father or something, right?
No, not quite. That you're thinking of Bjorn, the Fell Hand.
Oh, right, the Fell Hand. Right.
Yes, the Dreadnought. The guy they wake up every so often, and then he's like, ugh. But it's good stuff. Bjorn's awesome. But no, so the chapter master / Great Wolf of the Space Wolves for over 500 years. So it's not like he's young.
Yeah, he's just not that old.
Right. He is one of the most well-respected and feared combatants in the Imperium. And despite his virtually unrivaled prowess and acclaim, Grimnar's leadership of Space Wolves has put him in direct conflict with the powers that are on Terra many times. Despite the command he ushers, many in the Ecclesiarchy and the Administratum find him to be a total treasonous heretic, because he's, sick with it.
Totally.
But the irony here, of course, is that Grimnar himself is basically a living representation of what Leman Russ stood for: genuine courage, honor, and compassion. There are few warriors that it's interesting because Possum states there are few warriors that represent the Imperium better than the old wolf. However, I would almost argue that is not the case because he does not represent the bloating backwards carcass of the Imperium as a whole.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's upstanding, honorable, courageous. He's not corrupt. He's not a prick. He's not Inquisition pilled. I would say it almost sounds like he's like the antithesis of what the Imperium has become, right? Like he's almost the opposite.
He's like pre-heresy. He's the envisioned idea of the Imperium. He's what they originally strived to become,
Right.
And he has many notable sagas across the eras, and he still fights to this day. So,
Hell yeah, brother.
Logan Grimnar was born on Fenris long time ago as a member of the Iron Blood tribe. And for many who may not know, not all of the tribes of Fenris get along very well, which just sounds normal.
Makes sense.
The
Wolves, sure.
The Iron Blood tribe had some dedicated enemies in the form of the Sea Devil and the Ice Fang tribes, and a conflict between them and the other two rivals found Logan and his tribesmen seeking refuge in the temple dedicated to Morkai the Death Wolf. It's been a long time since we talked about Space Wolves, so you may remember that there's particular wolf-like deities, and one of them is Morkai, the Wolf of Death.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what they would worship. Also, what a cool name, Morkai the Death Wolf.
Yeah, Morkai is I believe that's actually the name of his weapon. It's like the teeth of Morkai.
Hell yeah, cool. Let's go.
Now, when they were there in the temple, they were faced with a surprise attack without many time to defend themselves. And one of the Iron Blood tribesmen were picked off. One by one they were picked off, but Logan Grimnar stood his ground. And as the final member of his tribe died, he faced his enemies head on. And this dedication to war and his tribe were carefully observed by Ulrich the Slayer, the high priest of the Space Wolves, who was taken aback by the actions of Logan and said, "The shadow of Russ follows this one like none I have ever seen before. His will be the fate of the chapter, each woven with the other." Good old Ulrich the Slayer is a baller. He's a G.
Ulrich the Slayer, damn. Space
You may
Wolves
have actually
so much cool, like so many cool titles. Their wolf priests are amazing. God, man, even though my boys are the Thousand Sons, every time we talk about the Space Wolves, it's like, God, they're too cool to hate.
You may remember actually Ulrich's artwork because Epic Embed fell off of this user. He actually was one of the chaplains that we showed off during the chaplain episode.
Right. God, so cool. That is some cracked art. God damn.
Yeah, he's a baller. Mm-hmm. So after striking down the leader of the Sea Devils in one-on-one combat, the Iron Blood tribe made their way to the temple, and Logan was taken to the Fang, where he was given the classic Space Wolf trials, which, as we know, are not what we would refer to as subtle.
No, or fun.
No, because crazy. The trials of the Space Wolf aspirants are extreme and very, very Norse. There are a multitude of tests that can vary from Space Wolf to Space Wolf, but the final test always remains the same, which is the test of Morkai, where the aspirant is implanted with the Canis helix part of the gene seam, and they are whisked away far from the Fang into the barren wastes of Fenris with almost no gear and clothing to make their way back to the Fang in one piece. Improvise, adapt, overcome, funny image with Bear Grylls drinking piss to survive, and making the best they can on their wits alone.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember it's like, yeah, you have to, with basically nothing, you have to survive the barren wastelands and the snow and all of the crazy wildlife and monsters that are on Fenris. And if you can make it back, congratulations, you're one of us, brother.
Basically. And obviously, Fenris is covered by a crazy amount of beasts, the weather is absolutely insane, and the trek is overwhelming and kills many aspirants. But despite everything involving the environment, the beasts, and the psyche, those that can overcome it will, of course, be welcomed back into the Fang. And, of course, there's also the whole thing about maybe succumbing to the curse of the Wolfen, which then, if you become a Wolfen, you are then out there in the wastes also as a problem for other aspirants.
Yes, I almost forgot about the Wolfen until you mentioned it. I forgot about, don't their minis look goofy as hell?
Yeah, I don't like the Wolfen minis. Yeah. I think they're pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a little unfortunate. They got so many good new minis in their refresh recently, but they did not update the Thunderwolf Cavalry or the Wolfen, and I would have liked it if they did, because I don't love them.
Yeah.
Well, the Thunderwolf Cav looks sick, but they're just a little old.
I don't mean to aside and derail, but how do the Wolfen work on the tabletop? Because are the Wolfen just completely yep, we've been completely lost to our base desires, we're just basically humanoid wolves? Or are they actually can you actually give them commands and control them if you're a Space Wolf chapter master, for example?
So I give Games Workshop credit, and then I take away their credit instantaneously at the same time, is that they do have an interesting little mechanic where the Wolfen have the same type of restriction that the Blood Angel Death Company have, which is they have a particular rule, at least in the case of the Wolfen, they have the Curse of the Wolfen, which basically is whenever you are within range of a character or something, you can add objective control that lets you hold objectives and do tasks. However, if you're not, you can't do any of that. So for Blood Angels, it's chaplains. And if it's not chaplain, if it's Wolfen, it's a character of some sort. So it's hey, you can be reined in line by someone, a superior that's dedicated to this, but if you are not reined in line, then, you kind of just go crazy.
Okay, that's right. They would have to have something like that for the Blood Angels, wouldn't they? That's cool. Anyway, sorry, not to derail, but yeah, I love hearing about little tidbits from the tabletop like that.
I mean, it's cool in a sense because oh, that's neat that they have this rule informed for them and they actually have slang in that way. But to me, the rule is not that interesting. It's very boring.
Yeah.
So it's cool that they thought about it, but it's a very boring rule and it needs more flavor. So, thank you for thinking about it. Please give me a different one.
Yeah. Please expand upon this rule. Yeah.
Yes. Now, despite the failure of many others, Logan basically was built different, as most chapter masters are. On his quest back to the Fang, Grimnar encountered the bane of many other aspirants, which is an ice troll known as Frostblood. And in the Frostblood cave, it was littered with corpses of other aspirants, as well as some warriors of Fenris itself. And during this encounter with Frostblood, he was able to grab a splintered bone of a fallen aspirant and lodge it directly into its eye, all while yelling with rage into the bleeding face of the ice troll. And so Logan, this dude, Space Wolf to the core.
Yeah, definitely. Whew. That is such a Space Wolf mental image too, of just jamming a bone into some troll's eyes and just screaming your damn brains out, just howling at the moon. Jesus.
Yeah, he is. There's only one other Space Wolf level guy more than Logan, and that's Russ.
Yeah.
Uh,
As we discussed, yeah.
Yeah. So after passing the test, he found himself inducted into the great company of Asvald Stormrack as a blood claw, which is the lowest rank, if you don't recall. He took his time to the life of a space wolf. It immediately was a champion of many battles for in a short amount of time. And among his brothers, Logan was very well loved for his unwavering bravery and boundless charisma. Shai says, get fucked, Ragnar Blackmane fans. Ragnar's number 3. All right. You've got Russ, you've got Logan, then you got Ragnar. All right. He's up there. He's just not that. He's not Logan, you know?
Yeah, we'll totally get to Ragnar Blackmane next week, right?
That totally.
Yep.
And quote from his brothers, his easy grin and ready jests earned him the trust of everyone he met, even the old and cynical long fangs of the company who grudgingly admitted they had warmed to the whelp. So everyone just likes the guy. He's just a likable dude.
He is. I mean, so far, he is pretty much just like the epitome of a space wolf. So, of course, they'd love him.
Now, obviously, he, over the course of the next century, he earned the trust of Asvald Stormrack, became the member of his Wolf Guard, close aide and counsel, and eventually, when Asvald fell in battle, Logan was unanimously elected as the Wolf Lord, aka Chapter Master, I believe, and followed in his stead. The Chapter Master, Wolf Lord's Chapter Master, right? No, it's Great Wolf.
Shai said, a Wolf Lord is a senior officer of the Space Wolves Space Marine chapter who is the equivalent of a standard Space Marine captain.
Okay, so it's a captain. Got it. Okay. I was like, because he is the Great Wolf. And he's also known as the Old Wolf. Good Lord, man.
Wolfen down. It's a Wolfen time, brothers.
It's Wolfen all the way down.
Wolf.
Oh, classic. Woof, 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 woof. Now, of course, because his prowess was so unmatched, his eventual ascension to Chapter Master, or in this case, the Great Wolf, was inevitable, as he was, the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a gift for combat. He was courage. He was a booming presence, sway anyone. And as Ulrich, the Slayer, had said before, he would be the fate of the chapter. However, though, and unfortunately, the fate of the chapter would be changed quite a bit thanks to a very well-traversed planet. Bum, bum, bum. The First War of Armageddon.
Oh,
yippee!
Boy. It's the hellscape of Armageddon. Oh, boy.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yeah, I love Armageddon. Armageddon the hell out of here.
Armageddon my ass out. So
Armageddon my ass kicked.
So Armageddon was in trouble for the first time and faced a crazy onslaught thanks to Mr. Angron. And Angron probably would have torn the planet to shreds if it weren't for Mr. Logan Grimnar answering the call and leading the entire Space Wolves chapter to the planet. Which is, as you may remember, like 1,000 people. Also, damn, that artwork is old school, but pretty sick.
Oh, yeah. That looks really familiar. I feel like you guys may have showed me this in like the old Space Wolves episode we did, because it looks really familiar to me.
We might have. I mean, that is
it's sick.
Classic artwork, yeah.
For reference, I do not mind seeing it again at all, but it does look familiar, yeah.
It was mainly him answering the call down to the banks of the River Chiron. And even though Logan had proved his leadership prowess time and again at this point, it's very important to know that he was a beacon of hope for the Imperium in the First War. Angron personally led an assault towards Hell's Reach with 12 bloodthirsters. Don't know why it's 12 and not 8, but you know what? Screw it.
Yeah, whatever.
And many Wolf Lords of the past may have attempted to face Angron head-on alone because they are a bit knuckleheaded at times. But Logan is much more tactical. He did lead an attack against Angron directly, and he let out a tactical howl that signaled a trap, where an entire brotherhood of Grey Knight Terminators teleported into the ranks and caused just enough disarray among the Bloodthirsters that the Space Wolves were able to get the upper hand and crush the forces of chaos. Now, It was also during this conflict where Logan Grimnar took a trophy that he still holds to this day, where he faced down a Chaos champion known as a Core Doomflayer. Love that.
So chaos.
And during that battle, Logan struck him with his Frostblade, where it blistered into 1,000,000 shards. Yet, despite the blade exploding, Logan was able to tear the Chaos Champion to shreds with his clawed hands and kill the demon by sinking his teeth into its throat. He then pried the axe that the champion used from his dead hands and still uses it today.
He uses a chaos axe?
He pried the axe from the champion, and it has now been reforged. As you can see, the axe is all broken apart and has been reforged into full pieces. And it is known as the Axe of Morkai, representing the Fenrisian guardian of the gates of death.
Oh, wow. When I first saw his mini, I just thought that was like, oh, yeah, it's like a fire axe. It's a molten axe because, like, oh, when you're on a frost planet, it sure would be nice to have, like, a molten axe. I did not realize that was a chaos. Man, I bet the Imperium does think he's very, like, how dare you, sir? That's heresy of the highest order. You can't use that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is the Morkai, the Axe of Morkai, its soul is forged by Khorne. Yeah, and like, so you can reforge that, but that is a chaos forged axe. And some people really don't like that.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yep. But at the same time, it's also like, what are you gonna do? That's Grimnar. Go ahead, try and take it from him.
It's kind of the same mentality that I think a lot of people have with the AdMech, where it's like, God, these people are frustrating and infuriating, but damn, they're making all of our bolters. So
yeah, they literally make our titans and our guns. We gotta put up with the man. And you know, like that's the whole reason for the treaty is like, well, we could take him out, but
do you remember the name of the treaty? This is deep lore. I'm not expecting you to get this, but this is deep lore.
Shoot, I bet you anything I'm gonna know it when you hear it, because I feel like I just heard it in like, I feel like it may have been said in Flesh and Steel, but I cannot remember it. And like,
it probably was.
Whenever someone says treaty in 40K, my brain immediately goes to Nikea, and it's just like, nope, that's not the one. That's a totally different thing. So no, I don't remember the name.
And I will once again make my normal mention that I normally do, which is the Council of Nikea is a bunch of bullshit said in Space Marine 2. Let's go.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, the Treaty of Olympus Mons. That is correct, Shy.
I guarantee you they said it in Flesh and Steel. That looks so familiar. And oh no, damn it.
Treaty of Olympus Mons, the double-headed eagle representing Terra and Mars.
Yep.
But anywho, so the battle with Angron in the First War of Armageddon was won, but it would be a real shame if something happened during the aftermath. Like the months of shame.
Whoa! What a shame for the months of shame. Yeah.
So the months of shame, this is the TLDR because we have a full episode of the months of shame. And obviously you are more than welcome to go watch that if you would like I mean, still not the most detail because we are Adric and we are an hour and change podcast, but it is, if you want more of the months of shame. Now, the cleanup of Armageddon, which as we all know, involved the sterilization of the planet's populace because of its contact with chaos, was something that Logan Grimnar really had an issue with.
Yeah, those cheeky Grey Knights.
Now, during this cleanup, Logan showed an exceptional amount of compassion by doing everything he could to stop the innocent citizens from feeling the full might of the Inquisition and Grey Knights cleanup program. And so he did two things particularly. He would protect citizens with his own dropships by attempting to usher them out of there, and he would also use his other ships to prevent the Grey Knights and the Inquisition from engaging and attacking the citizens, all the time without firing on the Inquisition or the Grey Knights, even while taking hits. This stalemate resulted in a full stop after the arrival of the Space Wolves battle barge known as the Gilfraheim.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Of course, these actions were taken very poorly, and the Space Wolves were viewed as heretics, particularly by Inquisitor Kisnaros and Grey Knight Grandmaster Joros. So, they invited Grimnar and the Wolves to neutral space to negotiate regarding the whole mess, but the arriving Wolves were subjected to an immediate attack from all parties involved, which did exceptional damage to the Space Wolves fleet. Kasarnos and Joros strongly encouraged Grimnar to teleport over and surrender, and he agreed to it, but in sort of a call an ambulance but not for me type way. He then teleported onto the ship with his full entourage of Terminators and proceeded to absolutely berate and yell at the Inquisitor for the actions against the citizens of the Imperium. Now, the Inquisitor attempted to intimidate Grimnar and clearly forgot that he was, in fact, the guy. Mm-hmm. When he asked if he really thought the Space Wolves would fight without him, Grimnar retorted and said that they would fight to the last man because they are brothers with the soul of the Imperium in their minds, much like the Grey Knights. But he questioned how the Inquisition was actually doing damage to the morale of the Grey Knights by making them fight in wars they do not wish to fight. And a Grey Knight by the name of Hyperion clocked this by thinking that Grimnar made it really hard to not like him, and the other Grey Knights psychically noted to one another that he essentially read them like a scroll. So Logan demanded to know who ordered the attack on the Space Wolf fleet. Joros of the Grey Knights confirmed it was him, while adding that it gave him no pleasure, but it was ultimately for the greater good. Grimnar, despite, his difficulties, was very much agreeable with this one, as seen outlined below. Please read this, DK.
Oh boy, all this? All right. The list of Lord Joros' deeds was more impressive than his unapproachable exterior might suggest. While he lacked a great many commendations for command, as a duelist and a frontline fighter, it was acknowledged across the order that few could match his reputation and skill with two falchion blades. I always mispronounce that word. Anyway, Joros was a master and his reflexes were renowned, and yet his blades had scarcely cleared his scabbard when Logan Grimnar's axe of blackened steel and burnished gold cleaved into our Grandmaster's breastplate and throat, ending a worthy, respectful life of service with a single crunching chop. Goros went down, felled by the axe blow and dead before he hit the ground. The great wolf's axe, named Morkai after some heathen Fenrisian superstition about a god guarding the halls of dead, ripped back out, blood sizzling on its active metal surface. In the time it had taken me to look back from Rothroat to his liege lord, my own Grandmaster was slain. That should explain, at least partially, how quickly the High King of Fenris moved.
So he took it well.
It was like you can't even snap your finger, and he had already killed Joros, which is a Grandmaster. So yeah, way to go, Logan Grimnar. And it's crazy. I remembered the months of shame, and I still forgot the quote. This is insane.
It has been like over a year.
True.
There is only so much lore. Also, yeah, a reminder, Grey Knight Grandmasters kind of look like that. And so the fact that he basically just like lopped his head off that quick, it should make it clear that Logan is kind of the guy.
Yeah. Although with all that armor, he's probably slow. It's a little slow, and Grimnar just,
Now,
God,
so
that's really cool armor.
Directly after that, the Space Wolves attempted to teleport out of there. Deed done. But the Grey Knights had predicted this and put dampeners up to prevent them from escaping. Now, this would have been a really good idea had Lord Joros not immediately gotten killed. So the Grey Knights and the Inquisition had a whole bunch of very angry wolves stuck with them. And after a quick calculation on how to kill all the Grey Knights within range was done, Grimnar and the wolves did just that. Kasarnos was very unprepared for this. and, terrified, undid the dampeners and got the hell away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, after literally watching your chapter master get absolutely bodied, like it was just a hot knife through butter, quick as quick can be, didn't even put up a fight. Why would you trap these wolves in there with you? What are you thinking? Why are you doing that? Don't do that. Let them go. Holy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of thing is like, I'm sure Grandmaster Joros was an insane fighter and probably would have given Logan like a real tough duel. But but like there is a certain level of just surprise. Like he did not expect Logan to just flip around in Terminator armor and lop his head off.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. But yeah, let's keep him in here with us. Sure, we can take him. Oh, okay.
So hostilities escalated on both sides until Fenris itself faced a major siege courtesy of the Ordo Malleus, the Grey Knights, and the Red Hunters chapter of Space Marines. And during this conflict, Grimnar forced his way onto the Inquisition flagship, and the speed and ferocity he had despite wearing Terminator armor horrified the Grey Knights as he tore through line after line before personally killing Kasarnos for his actions. But it was too late. Fenris was facing its inevitable destruction, and Grimnar was forced to withdraw and cease the fighting because, they were sieging the, Fenris itself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Grimnar, though the conflict would eventually come to a close and the Months of Shame would end, again, watch the other episode, Grimnar to this day has never found any reason to forgive the Administratum or the Inquisition for their actions about Space Wolves.
Oh, also, Shai said, we got like 100,000 comments on our Months of Shame video, so please mention that Grimnar sprinted in Terminator armor.
Grimnar sprinted in Terminator armor. The point to be made is Grimnar moves in Terminator armor like a regular Space Marine would move in regular armor. The dude should not be this fast. It doesn't make sense, and that's part of the power.
He's got the power. Is he the only one that can move like this in Terminator armor? Is he the only one that can like sprint, run, do these quick, crazy, agile maneuvers in Terminator plate?
I mean, I don't know.
There's probably somebody else, but he's like the most well-known, I guess.
I'm sure one of the Adeptus custodians in the custodian Terminator armor might have a similar movement. But the point being is that it is not a commonplace situation. This is a very frightening guy that should not move this quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for good reason, obviously, Grimnar never found a reason to forgive them, because not only was it a horrific violation of honor in Grimnar's eyes, but the conflict completely decimated the Space Wolves fleet. And the Fang was damaged more during this than it was when Magnus attacked it during the Battle of the Fang. And so, even after an agreement of the ceasefire, Grimnar knew the Inquisition would be keeping an eye on him no matter what. And so, he really does not like them.
Yeah. I was going to say that tends to happen when you have the Months of Shame where you kill a bunch of Inquisitors and Grey Knights. They're probably going to have a keen interest in keeping an eye on you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little upset.
It's just a smidge, frothing at the mouth.
Now, Logan and Space Wolves in general are very big on the sagas. They love to talk about their sagas, their stories. And so, despite all of these shenanigans, it did not stop Logan Grimnar from still fighting the good fight. Quite the opposite, actually. He became quite more emboldened during his times of the Month of Shame, and especially at the start of the 13th Black Crusade. He was a very busy wolf, and Champions of Fenris has a great summary of a lot of those things. Champions of Fenris being one of the kind of side codexes being read.
Okay.
So, for example, here are some ones in order. In M41499, he found himself on the planet of Palacia during what was known as the Palacian heresy, where Logan took control over arguing guard regiments and not only stopped an execution of the planet, but rallied those he saved into turning on the traitors of the planet, saving the entire planet from the traitors and treating the populace with fair and justice. In 612, He was provided intel on the location of a member of the Wolf Brothers, a long sister chapter of the Space Wolves, and freed them from the clutches of Fabius Bile. In 741, he arrived on Vara 3 to settle a conflict between the Imperium and the governor of the planet named Tor Rex, where he established a meeting with the Imperial forces and the planetary governor and realized that the Imperial forces that had were fallen traitor and not citizens of Vara 3. It ended by Logan ripping off the heads of the Imperial commander in the meeting and hunt down every heretic within the fleet. In 830, word is received that the priceless STC in danger due to Mechanicus vessel being down by an orc fleet on the world of Scrapspire, a garbage planet home to orcs, was saved by Logan and not only recovered the STC, but also 1v1 the orc war boss Krugfist and took his mechanical claw as a trophy. In 886, the delegation of officials from the Ecclesiarchy believed that the people of Fenris had begun to worship pagan gods. That sure went well. Logan refused to give the Ecclesiarchy entry, and one of their ships was downed. They decided to leave Fenris alone, but a year later they tried again and sent 3 orders of Adeptus Sororitas to enter by force. Quote, The resultant war lasted for 3 weeks before the Ecclesiarchy decides to let sleeping dogs lie and withdraw its forces. In 927, Grimnar stumbles upon a Tyranid splinter fleet and decides that what they need to do is completely eradicate all of them, despite the fact that the fleet was still centuries away from the nearest system. A massive assault was launched, and Grimnar led a boarding party where a vortex mine was planted within the hive ship.
Shit. Damn, that hive shit. Get out.
The hive shit. The explosion and subsequent battle completely wiped out the splinter fleet. And lastly, in 988, Grimnar, atop his chariot Storm Rider, leads his great company in a charge, dealing a devastating blow to the phalanxes of Imatek, the Storm Lord himself, on Valath 4. But despite being a massive W against the Imperium, Logan found it to be a hollow victory as 50 years prior, a Necron fleet that was led by Treason attacked the planet of Midgardia, yes, Midgardia, in order to claim a hidden Catan shard. Grimnar has been seeking vengeance against Treason, and he is hoping for the conflict would result in more information. Unfortunately, no such luck has occurred. Tee-hee, hee-hee, Necron wins. Not really, but kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say, not really. I mean, like a little bit, but god damn, he has been a busy wolf boy. Holy. That is a laundry list of achievements. God damn.
These are only some. These are the ones involved in the episode and the ones listed for me by Possum. There are many more.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, he is him. So if anybody's going to have that long list of, I messed fools up, it's going to be him.
It's going to be him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, lastly, one of our final main bits here is obviously on the 13th Black Crusade and the Siege of Fenris. Because of his actions and dedication to the Imperium, it made a lot of sense that Logan Grimnar would be selected as the supreme commander of the defensive Imperial forces during the 13th Black Crusade. He fought very hard, tooth and nail, on Cadia, and his guidance and leadership helped the planet stand a lot longer than it probably would have, but of course, it could not stop the whole thing, and then Cadia did fall.
Yep.
A massive chaos incursion after the fall impacted a huge swath of the Imperium, and the Fenris system was included. These storms resulted in a very strange event for the Space Wolves. Herald Death Wolves' squad of Space Wolves were saved by the Wolfen, which was the first time that the Wolfen have openly assisted their Space Marine brethren. And Wolf Priest Ulrich the Slayer believed that the return of the Wolfen would usher in the return of Leman Russ himself. But this resulted in a splinter hunt to find the Wolfen in the hopes of finding their lost Primarch. However, it was also it was a little bit of like a hide the Wolfen from the Inquisition type thing. Because, the Inquisition would have some pretty big feelings after seeing a Wolfen, especially with their other issues with Space Wolves as a whole.
Yeah, don't give them any reason to look further into the Space Wolves, right? Because any reason you give them, they're like, oh, yep, that looks chaos tainted. I guess we'll just have to start a war with the Fenrisians, and yeah.
Yeah, the space, it's kind of funny because the Dark Angels are very well known for being very like, stop looking at us, Inquisition. because they've done so much wrong. Where the
Yeah.
Space Wolves are like, stop looking at us, Inquisition, because they've done so much right.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like, stop looking at us, Inquisition. We will kill you. We do not care. Like, we've done it before. We'll do it again.
It's, oh yeah, Shai has a statement. What's up?
Shai said, this is a thought I had like a week ago while we were playing the Rogue Trader game because, spoilers, there are Space Wolves in it, and you can have a Space Wolf companion, but while I enjoy memeing about the furries and Wolfen, Wolf Lord of Great, Wolf Fang, Wolf Brother, Wolf Spear, the more I learn about the Space Wolves, the more and more base they appear to be. I was gonna say the same thing. Like, they just appear very upstanding, courageous, they want to do the right thing, and if you stand in their way of doing the right thing, well, goddamn it, we don't care even if you are an inquisitor or on our side or something. We will do the right thing even if we have to kill you.
Absolutely. So obviously the Wolfen were tracked through various demonic incursions, and after it was settled, they would move on to the next system. Operating in the same vicinity, the Grey Knights were very busy taking care of the Chaos incursions, and they started to notice a little bit of a trend. Each time they'd show up and take care of an issue, the Space Wolves would be leaving. And that was a bit sussy, and the discovery of a Wolfen corpse did not help this out.
Oh, they did find one, huh?
So the Grey Knights called for a meeting with Logan Grimnar to figure out what the hell was going on, and they came to an agreement regarding the hunt for the Wolfen. But during this discussion, the Grey Knights inform Logan that they have caught wind that the Thousand Sons might be seeking retribution on Fenris, and Grimnar, obviously a little spooked by this, rallied any and all great companies in the area and made their way to the Fenris system. Fenris, in this fight, became a full episode-worthy level war zone, thanks to the extreme chaos incursion spurred by the Thousand Sons, and quite literally every single world in the system, except Fenris, was under direct assault. As the battles were so expansive and planet-wise, Logan could only be in one place at a time, and so he chose Midgardia. Yes, Midgardia.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's also a very good image of how it looked. Like, things were happening, man.
Wow. That's, God, they very rarely miss with the art, but, ugh. I mean, it's not going to take much to get me to like Thousand Sons art, but...
I mean, that is no more perfect than the giant, horrendous-looking pillar being thrown into the ground, and behind them, great walls with giant wolf heads on it. Like, that's just perfect, man.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Whew. But so every single world obviously was under besides Fenris was under siege there, and on Midgardia he faced the Infernal Tetrad, which was a war band of demons with at least one major member from each god. There was Mordok the Rotted, that shouldn't surprise you, Arkgar, Zenshar, and Malignil Needleton. You can guess who might be who.
Needle tongue, totally corn, right? Obviously.
Oh, definitely. So the conflict resulted in Grimnar becoming stranded planetside for some time, eventually saved by Eagle, E-G-I-L, so maybe Eggle, Iron Wolf, and it was determined that Midgardia was a lost cause. The planet would need to be destroyed, and though it was tactically for the best, the absolute destruction of a planet in the Fenrisian system due to the taint of chaos made Logan feel a substantial, unrivaled rage. All he wanted at this point onward was revenge for the scar in the Fenris system. And so Magnus would mount his final doom on Fenris, and Logan was front and center. He led forces, including the Grey Knights and the Dark Angels, to the fray, and he was able to face Magnus alongside Eggle Ironwolf. They both charged Magnus, Eggle on a Land Raider and Logan on the Storm Rider, and Eggle Ironwolf reached the Primarch first, leaping from his Land Raider to land a killing blow. Magnus, however, caught him in a telekinetic grip and proceeded to vaporize him from the waist up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I was like, man, you gotta wait for the backup. You can't just go flying in at Magnus of all people, brother. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the two of them flew at him. The sacrifice, however, was not in vain, as Magnus was focused on Eagle, Ironwolf, Eggle, whatever, to brace for what Grimnar was about to do. DK for you.
Jumping from Stormrider at the edge of the chasm, the great wolf called out a mighty challenge. Magnus turned, a sneer of disdain on his cyclopean features. No mortal weapon could harm him, and thanks to the work of the blue scribes, neither could the enchanted relics of the Imperium. But the axe of Morkai was not of the Imperium. It had been forged as a weapon of Khorne, bane of sorcerers. Logan leapt, the double-headed power axe slammed into Magnus's chest, shattering arcane wards and piercing his breastplate to bite deep. In the distance, thunder rumbling long and loud. Only the psychers present heard it for what it was. The laughter of the blood god himself. Oh.
If you're gonna kill Magnus, you might as well use a Khorne axe, right?
Yeah. As soon as it was like, oh yeah, nothing can harm me. Nope, you can't hurt me with weapons of the Imperium. Can't hurt me with the with magic stuff, of course. And I was like, oh, the axe of Morkai. It's not Imperium. It's chaos. It's Khorne. Oh man, the foreshadowing that should have had, especially with Space Wolves, is like, how did I miss it? How did I not immediately just go like, he's going to kill Magnus with that thing, or he's not going to kill him. He's going to land a heavy blow on that bitch.
I mean, it's just sick as hell to have that come back around.
So sick.
Not to mention, like, I just love the idea that, it's almost not quite Zinchian, but it's just so, Khorne was sitting there like iron gripping his throne. And then when Logan flies at a demon Primarch of Tzeentch and kills him with the blood god's axe, he's just like, yeah!
Oh yeah, absolutely. The fact that everybody could hear his laughter. Oh man, Khorne cares not from where the blood flows, but boy, that must have been like, oh yeah.
Yeah, Khorne cares not, but Khorne, all blood flowing is great, but some blood is more worth than others. And
exactly.
Champion of Tzeentch is very up there.
It's real high on the list.
So anyway, the Grimnar and the Dark Imperium nowadays. So after the battle, we get a bit closer to the modern day. Grimnar and the Space Wolf have recently participated in the Noctis Eterna, and we're in the midst of a conflict with the Orcs when the arrival of, or they received word of a new arrival, Primaris Space Wolves.
Oh.
Now, most of the long-lived captains were pretty okay with having their ranks bolstered by the beefy soldiers. But Grimnar was not. He was not happy about this. Upon their arrival, he had them wait outside of the regular ranks while he figured out what to do next. For starters, the new Primaris Space Wolves were using official titles like Lieutenant and other non-chapter verbiage to address senior officers, which deeply got under Grimnar's skin. Because they don't have lieutenants. They have, like, Wolfguard battle leaders and things like that, right?
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't piss off more of them. I'm surprised it's only Grimnar that was like...
Shai, that is correct. I believe, if I'm unmistaken, Dark Angels tortured the shit out of their Primaris reinforcements because they thought they were spies from Guilliman.
Yeah, that tracks. So are there, like, do the Dark Angels just have no Primaris because they killed all of them?
The Dark Angels or the no, they didn't kill them, they tortured them. Very different.
Oh, okay. I thought they tortured and killed them because they were like, are they traitors? Oh, shoot. Killed them in the torture. Damn. Oh, well.
I mean, maybe torture is the wrong word. They interrogated them.
Okay. Is there really a difference in those words for the Dark Angels?
No, let me introduce you to Interrogator Chaplain Asmodai. But anyway, so he felt that this was Guilliman making some sort of attempt to dissolve or break the chapter apart. And this was further compounded when he found out that Guilliman was referred to as the Lord Commander, which Logan said was a title that Rabute was flaunting after stealing it from Rogel Dorn. So even after explaining that the Primaris tech would be brought to Fenris to help turn new recruits into Primaris Marines from the drop, Logan was suspicious and declined any assistance from the Primaris Marines despite being pretty down massively numbers-wise. He felt that the rush to replace their numbers with new modified Marines undid what made a Space Wolf a Space Wolf, and it felt like a tactical death of the chapter as a whole. Of course, this was a continued snowball from all the events throughout his life. His distrust of the Administratum and the inner workings of the Imperium had put him at an impasse.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this changed thanks to the unnumbered Primaris Marine named Sergeant Gaius, 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 whatever. I just don't want to call him Sergeant Gaius. So Sergeant Gaius, one of the Marines with the wolf helix that was sent to Logan, Gaius knew he was of Fenrisian blood despite never setting foot on the planet. And due to the difficulty faced by the Space Wolves, Gaius submitted himself to the trial of Morkai and became one of the first Primaris Space Marines to land on Fenris. He fought viciously to prove his worth in the trial, and he passed. He was bestowed the name Kjarg Iron Oath, Kjarg being the name of the largest wolf in the legends of Fenris, and said to have faced Morkai himself, and Iron Oath representing the devotion to the trial. So the story of Kjarg changed Logan's mind. These Primaris Marines may be different, but they were indeed childs of Fenris. And he finally embraced them as new additions and worked hard during the Indominus Crusade to assist Guilliman in uniting the Imperium. And we have seen him very recently in the Season of Blood conflict on Armageddon doing just exactly that. And that is Logan Grimnar.
Damn, what a badass.
Yes, he is quite the guy. Quite the guy. He is the guy.
He sure is.
He's very fascinating. Now, obviously, his miniature has recently gotten the update and looks absolutely insane. The two wolves on the miniature are known as Tyrnak and Fenrir.
Okay.
They are his companions, or his major companions. Yes, Fenrir, very subtle.
Yeah, it's some wolf had to be named Fenrir, right? I'm surprised, like, his middle name isn't Fenrir or something, so, yeah. Do his wolves do anything on the tabletop?
They bite you.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, does he bite? Yeah, he bites.
Yeah, he bites.
Yeah, additional attacks.
Right.
So basically his model he has like a storm bolter and whatever, and he hits you with the axe of Morkai, which hits like an absolute train. And then he also gets an additional 6 more attacks with Tyrnak and Fenrir, additional bites. His abilities are interesting. He has High King of Fenris, which means that he can pick a unit in the Space Wolves unit that is in reserves and have them arrive 1 turn earlier. I think it's kind of like a first into the fray type thing. And then he also has an aura around him of 12 inches that says if anyone uses a stratagem, it costs 1 extra CP, which is Guile of the Wolf. Costs 1 extra command point to make it harder to use. This was originally on Bjorn. I'm not quite sure why they gave it to Logan. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Logan's rules. I think they're like effective, but they don't really represent him very well, IMO.
Yeah. It does. Did they make it so that he has like better movement or faster movement or moves farther or anything? Because it seems like him being able to move as quick as he does, despite being in Terminator plate, is like that seems to be a recurring thing, and it seems to be a very common thing for them to use. So is he any more nimble or agile than the tabletop, or is this like it's just kind of whatever?
Yes and no. Yet he moves 6 inches on the tabletop. Terminators normally move 5. However, almost all of the Space Wolves move a little bit faster. So the Wolfguard Terminators in general also move 6 to match him. So it's not that he moves faster specifically, it's that everything moves faster. So yes, but no.
Oh. Well.
Yeah, no, I feel like he maybe needs a bit more. Well, I don't think he needs more combat because I've played against Logan in a tabletop game and he has murdered me. But I do think that his rules maybe don't match him very well. I actually think Bjorn is better matched. Bjorn has like a tankiness buff because he's just really tough. And also, he has the ability to give you command points every round because he's the ancient tactician of Bjorn, you know? So,
yeah, it sounds like he doesn't quite have as much lore flavor to his rules as some of the other tabletop minis do. So that's, it's still dope mini though.
yeah, I mean, that's a lot of 10th edition is like, well, they do have a rule that represents it, but it's just not that good of a rule. They also got rid of the trickster guy, which I'm really sad about. They had like a Loki character, and he was kind of a douche, and they got rid of him because he's an old ass mini, which sucks.
You'd think they'd want to revamp a Loki character.
You would think they would. You would think they would.
That's a pretty popular character type.
I have had the most fun playing the game of Warhammer in 10th. I have not had the most fun reading and having the lore adjustments in 10th.
Yeah, you know, that seems like I don't play the tabletop, but it seems like that's the common opinion of like, oh yeah, games are shorter, they feel more fun, they feel more fluid. But there's a lot of the narrative stuff that gets lost, and it kind of feels like it's fun to play, but like it feels like I don't want to say the soul of it is slowly draining out, but it's like, yeah, it's not as narratively fresh or something.
Yeah, that is exactly what I would consider it. Yeah, it is. They do a good job in certain things. Like I've noticed the thing that I find the most interesting is that a lot of the detachments are pretty fun. And I think that the minis are also really good. I know some people, Blood Angel fans, I'm sorry, did not get a great refresh, but the new Space Wolf minis look insanely good.
They do. They look real good. Mm-hmm.
The new Dark Angel minis recently have been great. Like, I think they've actually nailed the miniatures quite well in 10th.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I need a bit more intrigue. I need some more fun involving the actual rules, because the actual gameplay is like balanced. It makes for a nice pickup game. It's very easy, but it lacks a level of depth that I would very much prefer. Though, ironically, one thing that I will say is that a lot of the Space Marine detachments for the factions do feel pretty good. Like, the rules written are sometimes interesting. For example, for Space Wolves, their special detachment abilities are the sagas. And so the way it works is that you have a rule, and then you can complete a saga, a tale, and by doing so, you get a better rule. So,
okay.
For example, you have Saga of the Bold, which is one of my favorites, which the detachment rule is called Heroes All. And it makes it so that if you have a character in your unit, you can reroll a hit roll, a wound roll, or a damage roll. But if you are able to complete the saga, you can do it, reroll a hit roll, a rule roll, a wound roll, and a damage roll for your whole army. And in order to do so, you must complete these sagas, which is your hide as a trophy. Destroy an Oath of Moment targets, or, slay them all, kill another one, or take over their deployment zone, or, and you complete these sagas, and then, yes, you've done your deed, and then the Heroes All saga is complete, and now you all get the benefit. Like, that's cool. That's cool as hell,
Hell yeah, uh-huh.
That's sick as hell. But then you look at, like, what is the awesome, cool rule of Logan Grimnar? Well, he comes in one turn faster. And you're like,
that's it. Come on. That's Grimnar. You gotta give him, feels like he needs something more impactful and like narratively fun and just, yeah.
Yeah. I still kind of have the feeling that we need to do a bit more magic. I think Magic the Gathering likes to mix in a lot of weird stuff like coin flips and like D20 dice rolls.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like a lot more of that. I'd like a lot more of the a little bit more chance in that, or maybe some more things of that nature. Anywho, that's my ending of the episode small 10th rant that I always do, because I like it. It's fun, but it could be better.
It's not perfect. There's room to grow for sure.
Definitely room to grow.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's Logan Grimnar, the guy.
He is him.
He is kind of him, man.
Yeah. It's Logan
He's
Grimnar.
Logan Grimnar.
Not
What
Grimnar.
a-
He's Himnar, brother.
What a name. What a name. Oh yeah, wait, okay. I don't really want to do the awoo for the ending, Shy. That's not my vibe.
Oh, do I have to do the awoo? Is that what we're saying?
Hey, give us an awoo, DK.
Do you want like an actual awoo, or you want like the furry kind of ow?
Good enough.